What if I told you that God, the almighty creator of the universe, could destroy Lucifer in an instant, but chooses not to? That after all the pain, the lies, the wars, the betrayal, Lucifer is still allowed to exist, to whisper, to tempt, to roam the earth. How can that be? We imagine God as all-powerful, omnipotent, just. So why doesn't he just end Satan and be done with it? To understand the answer, we need to go back, not just to Eden, but before that, to a time when Lucifer wasn't evil. He was beautiful, radiant, anointed. Ezekiel 28 calls him the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. He walked among the stones of fire. He stood in the presence of God. He was a guardian cherub, not a beast, not a demon. Lucifer wasn't born evil. He was designed in light, crafted by divine love. But something changed. Lucifer didn't fall because of weakness. He fell because of pride. Isaiah 14 reveals the truth inside his heart. I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will be like the Most High. 5 times he says, I will. It wasn't rebellion against a cruel ruler. It was rebellion against love itself. Lucifer wanted the throne, the worship, the glory. He looked at God and said, I deserve that. And that single thought fractured heaven. But here's the mystery. If God is perfect, why would one of his creations even want to rebel? Because God gave something dangerous, something holy, something divine, free will. Real love cannot exist without choice. God didn't create angels and humans to obey like machines. He created beings who could choose him or reject him. Lucifer chose rejection. That was never a flaw in the system. It was the cost of freedom, and God paid it willingly. Now comes the question that haunts many. Why didn't God just destroy him? Why let the rebellion spread? Because God isn't just powerful, he's also just, and justice takes time. Lucifer didn't just rebel, he accused. He claimed God was unfair, that his law was too restrictive, that love under God was slavery. He launched a trial, a cosmic courtroom, accusing God's very character. And if God had silenced him by force, destroyed him instantly, the universe would have obeyed, but not out of love, out of fear. Imagine this. A king is accused of corruption, but before the trial starts, he kills the accuser. What would the people believe? Lucifer was given time to speak, to deceive, to test his way, because truth doesn't fear investigation, because real love doesn't silence rebellion, it outlasts it. So God waited, not because he was weak, but because he was building something unbreakable. Trust. Lucifer was cast down, but he didn't stop. He came to earth, not with war, but with a question. Did God really say? That whisper to Eve wasn't just about fruit, it was about trust. And in that moment, when Adam and Eve took the fruit, they didn't just disobey, they agreed with the enemy. They sided with the lie. They handed their dominion, their inheritance, over to Lucifer. Genesis says humanity was made in the image of God, given dominion over earth. That was our crown. Lucifer wanted it, and he got it, not by force, but by deception. Jesus later calls him the prince of this world, not because God crowned him, but because we surrendered the throne. Earth became the new battlefield, and we the new targets. But God had a plan. Revelation says Jesus is the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. That means God wasn't surprised. He already knew what Lucifer would do. He already knew what it would cost. He didn't plan to crush Lucifer by force. He planned to silence him with love. And so, God stepped into human flesh, walked among the broken, healed, forgave, and died. Not because he had to, but because he chose to. The cross wasn't just about saving you, it was God's answer to every accusation. It was proof. Proof that he doesn't rule by force, that his love sacrifices, that his law is holy, that he is willing to suffer what his creation suffers. Colossians 2:15 says, he disarmed the powers and authorities and made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. Lucifer's lies were shattered. Because what kind of tyrant dies for his enemies? So now comes the final question. If Jesus won at the cross, why is Lucifer still active? Why is the world still broken? Why is there still temptation, evil, war? The answer is in 2 Peter 3:9. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise. He is patient, not wanting anyone to perish, but all to come to repentance. God is waiting, not because he's unsure, but because he wants you. Make no mistake, Lucifer will be destroyed. But when it happens, no one in heaven, on earth, or anywhere in the universe will question it. Because God is letting all creation see the consequences of rebellion and the glory of mercy, so that when the final judgment comes, no one will say he was too harsh. Everyone will say he was patient, he was good, he was just. You live in the middle of this war. You were born into the fallout, but you are not powerless. Every choice you make, every act of love, of truth, of trust, is a declaration. Whose voice will you follow? Lucifer's lie, or God's quiet, sacrificial love? So why hasn't God destroyed Lucifer? Because truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs time to shine. And love, real love, waits. The war is almost over, but your story is still being written.